Hi, welcome to Infodumpies. My name's Brianne. I'm autistic, I have ADHD, my pronouns are she, her, and if I don't get a good grade at the dentist in having teeth, it will ruin my life until my next dental cleaning.
That's understandable. Hi, I'm Violet. My pronouns are she, her. I have ADHD. And fun fact about me, I still have a baby tooth in my mouth because I'm a little baby.
And our guest today is Max. Max is autistic. His pronouns are he, him. And for some reason, he's shown up wearing like a crown of teeth and a shirt that says I'm King Dentist. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But
it's cool. It's a look. It's a serve.
Yeah, it really lends itself to the bona fides. But I wish,
Yes.
if only this was not just an audio medium, you could see just Max's amazing crown of teeth. And he has a big sign behind him that just says, I love bones, give me your bones. So,
yeah, the outside bones that live in your mouth.
They're here to bring wisdom to everyone, to the crowds.
The king of teeth
Yes.
wisdom. I love that.
So, as you might have guessed today, we're talking about the Irish Industrial Revolution. No, today we're going to talk about teeth with Max, who is in dentist school, to put it in baby terms. But tell us technically, what is the official name of what you're in school for?
The official title is surgeon dentist for the degree. You can call it dental school. There's not a wrong way to say it. Here we mostly talk about it as odontology or dentistry. Both are the same thing. It's the study of the mouth, head, and neck. Most of the focus is on the mouth, so like teeth. Dentistry professionals can work on their entire system. They can work on the tongue, on tumors. The only thing we can't do is nasoplasty, so like nose stuff. But we are allowed to do procedures related to breathing problems. It's a part of the anatomy that we also study.
Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea. I thought it was just teeth. That's really cool.
No, one of the reasons that you're supposed to get your x-rays at the dentist regularly is that's often your first person who could tell you about oh, you look like you're getting a mass in your mouth. This looks like it could be precancerous. Or the reason that getting those x-rays, even though it's hey, shell out an extra $80, it's an extra $80 to have some peace of mind that you're not missing out on something that's going on under the surface. So they handle more than just teeth. It's your first line of defense for a lot of things.
A lot of dentistry professionals don't focus on those parts. One of our teachers says a lot about how if you don't focus on those parts, sometimes a tumor will be right in front of you, but you won't even know that it's there. Because every mouth is different, but we can and we should focus on those parts. But a lot of professionals do, but mostly just focus just on teeth, since it's the money maker. Since I know most of the audience for Infodumpies is autistic, I was gonna say ADHD, but I don't know if the ADHD has stress things related to dentistry, that sort of thing. I don't know if there's any correlation. I think so.
Not the same things. Of course, Violet has ADHD, but gets stressed at the dentist for different reasons than I do. Yeah.
So this entire topic we're talking about can really gross people out. So one of the things that we can do to make the topic less gross is, first of all, I'm gonna avoid some topics, not some topics, but some words. It's mostly wording that's because people listen to these go to sleep, that sort of thing. I myself, I'll have a lot of sensory overload problems, which also can get really stressful in the dentist. One way we can do to ease everyone, besides sparing some terms and actively avoiding nasty details, is to figuratively throwing some terms out of the window, as in we can say them right now and nowhere else at any point in the talk. So we can say saliva and blood and spit and pus and lastly moist. And then
that one bothers me more than all of the fucking other ones.
I know. This is the gatekeeping section of the podcast.
Background on me: I am I am the product of two doctors, one of whom became a dental hygienist before medical school. And I have the flavor of autism where I have to not brush my teeth too much. I feel very strongly about it. Like gingivitis increases your
Absolutely.
risk of heart disease.
Not only the gingivitis, but actual cavities also. Cavities have a direct
Mm-hmm.
correlation to can have a direct correlation to heart problem because of the blood flow.
Oh, interesting. I grew up in a house where it was very just like, just brush your teeth, and if you say you did it, it's fine, whatever. There was not like a whole lot of emphasis put on dental hygiene, which it was really interesting because, like, growing up, my dad was very much just like, we've got Viking teeth, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just brush your teeth, it's fine. My mom's side of the family was very much not like that. They were very prone to cavities, and she was always very good about taking care of her teeth, and so it's interesting because I tend to take more after my dad, and I have very few teeth problems, but my twin brother takes more after my mom and has a lot of
Yeah,
teeth problems just historically.
yeah.
So I don't know if there's anything to
It's
that, but
yeah. It's because and I'll actually we can get onto this like also later in the talk because our bodies in the building blocks of our bodies when it comes to our mouths it's not like 100% solid on what it has to do, like it's not like 100% coded. It's sort of like how everyone has a different fingerprint in the sense that our body builds it based on a bunch of different factors. As you're being developed, oh, your body will code that all your bones are gonna be the same size. Like, your forearm bones are gonna be the same size because it's important for your body to have your bones be the same size. But for your mouth, since your jaw and your head, they can have different things can affect how it's shaped and how it grows over time.
oh
It's
yeah,
way more beneficial for your body to improvise, quote unquote, to improvise over time. The genetics of it, like it can take different aspects of your genes based on what it's improvising, quote unquote. I'm being very
interesting.
general. I'm trying to like explain it in a very like understandable terms, but
Yeah, no, I get it
Mhm.
because like your
Yeah.
face and your face structure change constantly as you age. Like you get
Even as an
older.
adult, like yeah.
Yeah, no, like even so that's one of the reasons that people who get Botox at the end of the day, you can still
Mhm.
even without even someone with a wrinkleless face, you can still tell like, well, you're not 22 because as you get older, you have like bone resorption in your face cuz you start losing
Mhm.
bone mass and things start kind of looking like they're moving because of that and your teeth have to be sort of dynamic to exist while all that's
Yeah,
happening. Teeth are
everything's
amazing.
affected. Yeah, everything's affected. Hormones affected. Like even your emotional health. Even your emotional health
Oh
affects
wow.
your teeth.
Yeah, because it has an effect on your immune system and your
Mhm.
teeth. Again, your mouth is one of your first lines of defense. One thing that I learned pretty recently, and I feel like I'm formulating a full episode of Infodumpies about it because I was just thinking like about the different factors. But for autistic people who are hypermobile, your connective tissue being different means that autistic people are more likely to have their
Oh.
teeth crowd and have dental crowding and maybe have
Mhm.
like need to have work done on their jaws because an underbite or overbite, and that's because of our connective tissue disorders we're prone to having, but that's also where the nerd stereotype of the nerd with headgear and braces comes from. So ultimately, the 80s and 90s nerd stereotype is an autism caricature that goes down to even our physical health
No.
conditions. In this essay, I will no, not today, but
Absolutely.
the tooth part was really interesting. I want to do a whole thing on the nerd stereotype and facets of autism. But the tooth part was so interesting because for me, I had to have 4 years of orthodontics because my teeth were so crowded. I had teeth behind other teeth and it was actually causing me issues because I couldn't floss between some of them and I couldn't actually get some of them really clean. So like do you also like end up learning about some orthodontics in school also? Or is that just completely separate?
We do, but it's very, very, very basic. we do learn about it. So like I could talk a little bit about it, but it would be
It's
very
but it's just
basic, you
it's
know.
just interesting though, because you also do have to
Hmm.
learn like, oh, this person's coming in for cavities, but they have a full set of braces. I have to learn how to work around this and how it works because I don't want to mess up what's
Yeah.
going on with their braces. So you just have to learn so much.
Yeah, well, on the autistic thing, also there is such a thing as
Oh.
learning how to bite, and that's
Hmm.
something people like very rarely talk about. Like it's called occlusion, which is like being able to fully close your mouth where all your teeth fit like neatly, where you don't have an overbite or an underbite, that sort of thing. You actually have to go, in some cases you actually have to go through occlusion education or like re-education on how you have to bite, because some people can have like normal not normal, can have
Typical.
healthy, yeah, can have typical jaws, and like their teeth can be okay, and they're still having problems related to needing braces, because they spent their whole lives just like doing an underbite by accident, you know, or an overbite by accident. And like this really messes with them, and they spend like I've been with patients where they're 30 years old, 30 years old, and they still like, and they are like, when we ask them to close their mouths very slowly so we see how it is actually closing, they were he was having problems where his frontal restorations were always falling, like they
Hmm.
wouldn't stay on for very long. And then when we did that test, we found out that he was biting teeth over teeth, like his frontal upper teeth and his frontal
Oh.
bottom teeth
Touching.
were hitting each other. So he
Yeah.
was literally he
Knocking
was
it right
the
off.
one. Yeah, and he kept
Oh.
saying that we were applying the restorations wrong, you know,
No,
because
he
was
just kept going
falling.
cut 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 and
Yeah,
tapping them
yeah,
right off.
exactly.
Just
It
tap
was
them right
literally
off.
it was literally just a habit thing, you know.
Yeah.
If you talked with him for long enough, you'd see him do the thing, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
interesting. Yeah, I've always had like I've only had a few like dental issues. I haven't really had a whole lot of cavities, but I've had a few crowns put in and stuff like that, but nothing like crazy, no root canals or anything. But I know I have a twin brother who's a fraternal twin, and I have an older brother. Both of them had a full set of wisdom teeth. I was born without any wisdom teeth, and I know when I went to
That's
the
why she's
dentist,
such a goober.
that's why I'm such a goober. I was born without my wisdom teeth, and so I'm just a silly Billy because of that. Uh, but but yeah, basically when I was really young, I had some X-rays done, and they're like, "You don't have wisdom teeth. That's really interesting. We don't see that a whole lot." And so I was curious, if do you know if that's something that's really common, or is it like how often do you see
Yes.
that?
Yeah. By the way, you're very lucky, because I was gonna add both of y'all's wisdom teeth to my crown, but since you don't have the wisdom
I
teeth, I unfortunately, yeah, I'm gonna
they
lose some
didn't
of my
let me
power.
keep mine. I asked to
Oh
keep mine and
no.
they didn't let
You
me keep them.
can.
They had to, so mine were impacted and they were waiting until my wisdom teeth came in for a really long time to see if they would fuck up my teeth more because I had braces for so long. They're like, we don't want to mess it up. We don't want the wisdom teeth to come in. They just never started coming in. So before I went to college, they're like, let's pop them out. Let's just pop them out. Mine came out in little bits, and I was extremely out for all of it.
Yeah. So yeah, when I applied for the for the Infodumpies, Brianne actually told me on the email about your situation and the
Yeah.
wisdom teeth.
Oh yeah.
And this was really fun, because I actually ended up learning more stuff that I wasn't aware about, like
Oh cool.
about this topic. By the way, just confirm it to me. Do you also don't have some of your, is it molars or premolars? Like
Um, I, I'm not. I don't. I
after the
don't know what the.
canine?
It's a, it's
Yeah.
a,
Oh,
it's
so
a,
it's
yeah.
it's back here.
That
So
It's,
right.
you can hardly see
Hang on.
that tooth right there.
it's your
So I think
premolar,
that's
I
a
Yeah,
think.
canine.
that's a premolar, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a baby tooth right there with a big old crown on
Oh.
it. So
Huh.
when I was pretty young, and my teeth were coming in, they did some x-rays on this side and they noticed there's no adult tooth under there. And so my dentist
Mm-hmm.
said, that's going to fall out eventually. So what we're going to do is just put a big crown on it to keep it in place.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it will fall out, but this will help just keep it there for longer. You'll get use out of it for longer. And then eventually we'll need to do like an implant or a bridge or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't fallen out.
Yeah.
A few years
Yeah.
later, I
I
got
was
an
gonna say
X-ray
you
done.
actually got another X-ray about it, and it's like, no,
Yeah,
that's in there.
I got an X-ray done, and what's happening is the root's gone. There's no root to the tooth anymore. It's just
Mm.
sitting flat on the gum, and the other
Oh.
two teeth are holding it in place.
Oh my God.
And I can chew on
It's
it, no
so
issues,
cool.
everything. The last dentist I went to, they were like, I am shocked that you still have it in your mouth.
I
Little divot.
this is not gonna work for the podcast, but I just want to show I have this mannequin that I was working on last year, and it all actually we made it so like I removed one of the teeth. It's also a premolar, so
Oh
it's
yeah.
a canine and a premolar missing and another premolar. Our job was to file it down to be to look like very, very thin and very
Oh
small.
whoa.
And because so it was like a more economical way of doing a prosthetic, which is just doing the teeth, all three teeth by themselves, like on one,
Oh
as you can
yeah.
see.
Oh,
And
same
then
principle, same principle as her actual teeth.
yeah, and then so like the two of them are like sockets. It's
That's
fine.
so cool. So what Max has
Wild.
shown us
Yeah.
is that the way Violet's baby tooth is still in there, where the two teeth are holding it, they make a prosthetic where the missing tooth area is filed down so it has something to attach to, and then it has a socket on either side for the two teeth beside it to help hold it in place, which is genius.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
called
wild.
it's called a fixed prosthetic. It's called ponticle teeth because it's two holding teeth and one floating one, quote unquote.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, I don't quite understand how I still have this tooth in my mouth, but have you ever seen or heard of like a person who is I'm 32 years old.
Hmm.
Have you heard of someone at that age that still has a baby tooth before?
Yeah,
Really?
it's your boy.
Really?
And
Cool.
for also, yeah, because firstly, I wanted to ask for that tooth specifically. Did anything happen like when you were a kid? Did you have like any sort of accident, or like did you hit your head or something like that? Like when you were like a really small child, are you aware of anything like that?
Not that I can think of. I didn't have any like injuries or anything like that.
Other than the train car explosion.
Yeah, other than the time I was hit by a train,
But
but
but that
that
was
was fine.
Yeah.
That wasn't a big deal.
I
It
imagine
didn't
that
get her
was,
I
head.
got better.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say
So
it was just neck down.
yeah, it was all
Yeah.
neck down. Don't worry about it. No,
Yeah,
but no, I
because
really didn't.
yeah, because missing teeth have can have a lot of reasons why it happens. Like it's very common, depending on why it happened. Like for my in my case, you won't be able to notice the difference. For my frontal tooth, you notice that it's a little bit of a different color.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah,
It's
very slightly.
because yeah, when I was a kid, when I was I think I was 8 or 9 years old. I was playing with my brother on the living room, and we were playing Toreador. And so I was the bull, and he was the,
Oh
Oh, I
no.
can
yeah.
see where this is going.
And
Oh no.
Oh goodness.
he held a towel. It was also a white towel, by the way. Like so, we were like doing very bad role play. He held the towel in front of the TV. So
Oh
I went
no.
head first on the TV set, and this was 2007. So it was those like big tube TVs,
Oh
like
my
the ones
gosh. With a
that
big
people
glass
do.
dome.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. The ones that if you put a magnet over it, it becomes like a rave party. And so I hit head first, and this tooth, half of it went off, like just chopped, like a very fine chop, like half of it. Went to the dentist. The dentist said, okay, so we're just gonna do a very basic restoring, just so he doesn't go around with
Hmm.
like half of his tooth missing, with a little window on his mouth. But you're gonna have to come back later to do an X-ray and see how it is, etc. I never went back because my parents were very cheap about it. But years later, like literally in dental school, we were doing X-ray practice with each other. Like everything we do in dental school is in between each other. So like if we do applicating anesthesia is with like one on the other.
You have
So it's
partners and you practice
yeah,
them on each
Yeah.
other.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. The only thing we don't practice is removing each other's teeth. But
Oh, I
anyway.
certainly hope not.
You can only practice it for so long.
Yeah.
You only get about around 38 times, 38 tries. Anyway,
And then you
so
get to
when
practice
we,
dentures.
yeah, oh my God, I'm gonna teach that to my teachers.
Oh my.
Um,
Oh, I love that.
so like when I got to dental school years later, we did an X-ray of my mouth, and we noticed that the root of my front on the of this frontal teeth was way smaller than the other ones, and we went to the teacher to ask about it, and he's like, "This is a baby tooth. You
Huh.
still have a baby tooth." And because I was a child, so I wasn't aware that like we do the
Yeah.
restoration, and I was like, "This is fine. This is fine." So like years later, the teacher said, "No, this is still a baby tooth." Ever since I hit my head on the TV, my adult teeth just never came on, just never came out. What happens is, if there's something that happens to your mouth, like no, an extreme case is something happens to your mouth while it's still trying to form your adult teeth. What will sometimes happen is it will the baby teeth that are there, if it's fine the way it is, for instance, you did a restoration like on to make it the size of an adult teeth, to then do what do you say, an implant later.
Mhm.
What usually happens is your body will try to grow the adult teeth. It will not have space in your jaw to grow it, and your body will
Mm.
just reabsorb it because it doesn't have a use
Huh.
for it. And
Interesting.
this, yeah. So it's like you probably don't, if you had an accident like that, you probably don't know because you are very young. But this also can happen for other reasons, like environmental, like it could be like a birth thing, it could be a mutation.
Yeah.
But like,
That's wild. I didn't.
hmm,
So you've just explained something to me that I never understood growing up. So I have one first cousin, and when she was small, she was running around at church, clumsy as fuck, tripped, hit her front teeth on the edge of the stage at church, just fucking smacked right on her mouth.
huh,
And they basically had to do emergency surgery to help her keep her baby teeth
mm-hmm,
while she had them, because she basically would have been without her most of her front teeth until the adult ones came in. Even later, she had to go to so many dental appointments. That happened so long ago. And now I'm understanding. They're like, oh, she might not get the adult teeth for the entire front row because of this extreme trauma that happened. We have to keep checking on her. So that's, you answered, like, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
It's like, they're baby teeth. They'll come out. She'll get the adult ones. Like,
yeah,
she can use them longer.
mm-hmm,
Now I understand. It could have been much worse
Yeah.
for her.
That's really
yeah.
interesting because I never had any injury or anything on my jaw or anything like that, and to my knowledge, I never broke a tooth or anything like that. And
Other than the waterfall incident on that one camping trip with your family that your mom told me about.
But that was
yeah,
on the other side of their face.
yeah, that was on the right side,
Yeah,
and
yeah. That was on the other
yeah,
side,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
related at
And
all.
then the second time I was hit by a train, it was all on the right side. So, but yeah, no, I think in my case it might be genetic because all I remember from when I was very young and I had some of my first dentistry appointments, they were just like you just don't have a tooth under there. There just isn't one. is what they told me.
Yeah, with you also not having wisdom teeth, it does sound like it's probably like a
Yeah,
genetic thing with you.
that's where I wanna get to the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
that I learned on my last
Oh,
year.
yes.
I'm on my last year of dental school, and I just learned about this. Because like we have a lot of talks about autistic patients and patients with certain problems, like emotional problems, that sort of stuff. Like people can get afraid of the dentist very easily,
A
which, by
bit.
the way, dental fear of dentists is mostly a parent's problem. Parents make their kids fear the dentist more than kids actually fear the
Really?
dentist, usually enough, because they will sometimes use it as a punishment, like, oh, we're gonna go to the dentist if you don't do this, that sort of thing. Because the
Oh.
parents were also taught to fear the dentist.
That also describes why I'm like, the dentist! Time to get a good grade! Hurrah!
Yeah, I actually had a
Yeah,
fear of dentists for a long time.
yeah.
But I don't think it was a punishment thing. I think in my case I really hate the sensation of having my teeth drilled and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
something about that vibration, it makes me want to start punching.
Yeah,
And so I was
yeah.
like, please no.
Yeah, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of the dentist, but it is a sensory nightmare for me.
Oh, absolutely. Fear of the dentist it's very normal because it's instinct thing. You can't see the inside of your mouth, and you're letting someone go there with like sharp things and rotating, noisy, not vibrating, things that vibrate
They
your
are. No,
jaw.
it's the
Yeah. So
yeah.
like that's you have to overcome a lot of stress to get your teeth
Yep.
fixed. Like a lot of the times you get your teeth fixed and you still be feeling pain, and you think,
Mhm.
oh, so what was the point of all this?
Mm.
Like a lot of cases when people get root canals, it's entirely like strictly very normal for you to still be feeling pain 3 days after
Oh wow.
a
Mhm.
root extraction or like a root canal cleaning, that sort of thing, because it's simply stress. About missing teeth. Again, this is all studies done outside of my general studies. I was half of it Googling, half of it actually going to my library books. So this is legally not a
Okay.
diagnosis. I'm mostly
Totally fine.
pointing stuff out.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna go to my
yeah,
dentist
yeah,
and
no. Nobody's
oh
doing
sorry.
anything. Yeah, no, this is the same rules as Sawbones. This is
Yeah,
not
exactly.
medical advice or opinion. It's a podcast. Please don't ask Max to diagnose
Yeah, but
that weird
I am
boil.
gonna go to my dentist and be like, listen, you can say whatever you want, but my friend Max told me what's going on. No, just kidding. Yeah.
Infodumpies is not
Here,
a
just check out this
anyway.
podcast episode. It'll explain everything. No, just kidding.
Right. So missing
Mm.
teeth, specifically wisdom teeth, has become very normal over the years.
Mm.
It has to do a lot with evolution. It's the
Hmm.
specifically the loss of a necessity of a trait over time. It's the same logic of birds who go to an island without predators, and over the generations they lose the ability to fly. It is related to that, but it's also related to, as I've said before, your mouth has to prioritize certain things and improvise with your head size, your jaw size, that is evolving over time. Like over time, we've been having smaller jaws, like even though they're still squared. We found in Neanderthal skulls that like all of them, literally all of them, had all their molars perfectly, including what we consider now the wisdom
Mm.
tooth. Like they didn't have any problems with them. They didn't have like they were like out of place, or like how we usually do the surgery
Hmm.
to remove wisdom teeth. They had three molars completely straight.
Hmm.
In less human bones, in primates, we find them having actually four molars per side of your per quadrant
Hmm.
of
Interesting.
your mouth. Nowadays, usually around 15% of the human population does not have any wisdom teeth at all.
Wow.
Sometimes it's, oh, sometimes is the bottom jaw doesn't have two of them, the upper jaw doesn't have two of them, or you don't have one of them. It depends a lot
So
on. Mm.
it's about twice as common as ADHD to not have wisdom teeth.
Right.
Oh,
And a
interesting.
lot more
If I
common
remember
than.
correctly, I think ADHD is like something like 10 or 8% of people. So
Mm.
maybe
That's
50% more, but
interesting.
still like it's way common. That's so
Yeah, because
interesting.
Mhm.
when I was
And
growing up, they basically told me that it was pretty rare. So I wonder if maybe it's just becoming less rare nowadays.
yeah, it's sample size.
Mm.
Over time we find more people, we do
Yeah,
more research about
that's
Very
it.
true.
true. When
Um,
we were young, when we were kids, I couldn't have had autism.
exactly. So the studies nowadays point that is around 15% of people do not have wisdom teeth showing up. And it's because when your teeth are growing, we call it, okay, this is also another gross word, a dental germ. It's a seed,
Mm-hmm.
basically. It's a dental
Yeah.
seed. Your mouth tries to form all of them, but since it has an order, like from front to back, usually
Mhm.
your mouth has all your teeth fitting, and then the wisdom teeth can't come out at all,
Mm.
you know? So if the seed, quote unquote, the seed has no place for it to grow at all, your body will just reabsorb it. And in most people's cases, it still has a little bit of space, so it grows an entire wisdom tooth, but it doesn't have any
Mm.
space for it, so it just doesn't come out at all, or just comes out just a little bit, that sort of thing. It's
So mine said things look too cozy and nice in here after all this orthodontia. We simply won't come out.
exactly. It's becoming such a losing trait that now your body isn't even coding them properly.
Oh wow.
As in, it's not, in some people, the coding of your teeth is making wisdom tooth not look like molars anymore.
What?
Yeah, in
Whoa.
some cases, and it depends a lot, but in some cases, wisdom teeth are coming out upside down, they're coming out to the
What?
side, yeah.
Whoa.
Or, and like I found no pictures of this because like it's so rare, but there are study papers of dentists from like the early 2000s saying that they found canines where wisdom teeth were supposed to
I
be.
Whoa.
was just going to say it
Mm-hmm.
would be absolutely wild to be a dentist and see canines on
Mm-hmm.
someone's wisdom tooth x-ray.
It's
Wow.
possible. I didn't find any pictures of it, but it is reported. Like it's
That's
been
how you know you
reported.
got that dog in you.
Yeah.
Ah, that's good.
You
Yeah,
got
it's
that
just
dog
hidden in your
wisdom.
gums, is where it is.
It's hidden in your gums.
Yeah,
You got that
inside you
dog
there
in
are
you.
two
Yeah.
dogs, one set on each side.
I've also found reports of the like so like the molar is sort of like generally oval squared shape. Some dentists have found wisdom teeth that they just look like almost perfect squares, as in like just a block
Whoa.
of like white of like
Yeah.
enamel, because like your body just didn't have enough of the genetic
It
code
said
to code it.
it's tooth,
Yeah,
whatever.
it
It's
won't
tooth.
come
It's
out.
tooth.
It doesn't need to
It's a
come out.
low
So
resolution
Yeah,
so
tooth.
right.
tooth. I made it. Come out or not.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
low
this is
poly
the
tooth.
Nintendo
Oh
64
my God,
tooth.
it's the
Yeah.
Matrix. The Matrix
Yeah.
is they're economizing on HD space
Yeah.
by making the
Exactly.
teeth
Yeah, it's a
low
level
res.
of detail
Oh my God.
Yeah.
optimization
They said
is
you're
what
not.
it is.
Yeah, they notice like everyone's just ripping these things out. Why do we give them wisdom teeth anymore? They turn like 14 or 15 and
Yeah,
then go
just
pay
make it a
someone to
cube.
rip them out.
Just make it a
What are
cube.
we doing? Just make a cube. And then some people are like, well, I'm not making them at all. And people are saying,
Yeah.
that's absurd. You need to give them the teeth that go back there.
Yeah,
That is wild.
they don't tell you this, but pro players actually they play and the mouth is just one
Oh yeah,
solid
there you
piece,
go.
and just like a horseshoe
Yeah.
shape because it runs
Oh
way
yeah,
better
so
on your
fast.
games.
So many frames per second. You can choose so many frames with that kind
Exactly.
of teeth.
Yeah, yeah, they give them the original teeth they were going to give Sonic in the Sonic movies.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
The old Pac-Man.
So, related to the premolar, just real quick. During research, I found a condition called dental
Mhm.
agenesis, which is literally just tooth missing, you know. As I said before,
I love when the answer for what it is
Tooth missing.
tooth missing.
yeah,
It's a
no,
yeah.
yeah. So it can be any teeth, it can be all teeth, it can be some, it can be one. It's very general about it. When I was doing research for it, it was saying that it's mostly found in wisdom teeth and
Oh,
premolars. That's why I was
That's what
asking, and
wow.
it literally
yeah,
felt
cool.
like a bullseye, you know? Like it might not be this, but it could, very
That's
well
really
could.
interesting. Huh.
Uh, in this case, it's around 3% to 10% of the population that has it, because like the research about it is
Oh, oh, Violet
so
feels special again. She's like, oh, I'm a rare baby.
yeah, and it can come from a lot of factors, but generally it is a genetic X gene dominant condition. So like maybe as someone from your mother's side, if they have like any teeth missing, like in the same general area, but it can be anything, you know? That's
Oh,
just
yeah.
something to think about.
Genetics are so wild. So there was a recent Infodumpies we did where I talked about the dog, the Inca Orchid, where if this dog is hairless, which a lot of them are, the hairless versions almost always have missing teeth because their hairlessness genes are
Mm-hmm.
related to their dental genes for what teeth they have.
Exactly.
So I wonder what other things are related to Violet's missing adult premolar and wisdom teeth. It's just
Yeah.
interesting. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's probably something else
And
that's
one
connected to
of
that.
yeah,
Probably.
It's so
one of the
weird.
things that's odd is that both of my parents were not missing any teeth. My parents both have all
Hmm.
of their teeth and everything like that. Although, from what my dad told me, my grandpa was also missing two wisdom teeth. So it's like,
Hmm. Then that's
maybe that's where it came from.
interesting.
Yeah.
Max, thank you for
Yeah.
doing that
By the
research.
way,
It's really cool.
it was really, really fun to do a deep dive about it. But yeah, fan facts, what the hell? Fun facts. By the way, I don't know if people can tell, but I'm not American. So fun facts. These are mostly historical
Hmm.
fun facts, because a lot of like modern dentistry is very clinical, and learning about history is fun. We usually tend to think of dentistry as like the early 17, 1800s, maybe even earlier, with the barber doctors,
Yeah.
doing a
Barber
little,
surgeon.
yeah, barber
Yeah.
surgeon doing a little song and pulling a little teeth. But actually, dentistry has been found to be way older, as in
Whoa.
7,000 years old around. And I do mean dentistry. They archaeologists found in a Pakistani graveyard that was dated to be around 7,000 years old. They found in the people that were buried there, they found like 9 different
Mm.
people had holes drilled in their
Whoa.
molars. And by drilled, I mean like by
Yeah,
hand,
like
like
a
drilled as in
Yeah. Yeah.
not like by a
Yeah.
mechanical drill, but and we did find that these were done in vivo, as in the people were alive
Mm-hmm.
while it was
wow.
done. The holes in those molars that were drilled, they had even cone shapes. So it was done by
Wow.
tools, you know.
Yeah, I imagine they had like some kind of
Yeah,
Amazing.
hand drill. Wow.
yeah, possibly flint tools, because like
Oh
it was
yeah.
too early to be anything else, you know. And it was very likely to be a culture thing, or an attempt to fix a problem like cavities. We're not sure about why they were doing, but they were doing to people there. Also about like being done in vivo, like we can find that like animal, like it can restore itself over time. So like those people
Mm-hmm.
had it drilled and then had it healed, that sort of thing. So like it was a process, but we don't know why it was done. Places of history that we do know that dental stuff was being done was in ancient Egypt
I knew
around
it.
4,000 years
That's the
ago.
one I
Yeah,
knew.
it's
Those
always,
motherfuckers
yeah.
figured everything
Yeah,
out.
that
It's always It's always Egypt.
Egypt, like,
Um,
there's so much, and I know ancient Egypt is such a broad time. Like,
mhm,
that's
yeah,
thousands of years we're talking about, sure, but still, they did so much interesting things that really like has a lasting effect on how the world is today.
yeah.
Incredibly scientifically
Yeah.
minded.
Absolutely. So this is recorded to be the very first doctor of dentistry ever recorded. He was called Hesi Ra, his name meaning blessed by Ra. He was a high-ranking official. There are many plates of him like drawn on walls,
Cool.
as he was a confidant to the king, and his title, why we know that he was an actual like doctor of dentistry, is because his title has been translated to great one of the ivory cutters.
Oh, wow.
Ah,
That's a
cool.
cool name. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's what you need to have etched into your tooth crown is, yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely, carry on
Yeah,
the legacy.
yeah.
Become the next
Yeah.
great one of the ivory cutters.
Hmm.
Oh man, that's, I want to write like a whole D&D campaign now. Like
About the great
Absolutely.
one of the ivory
yeah.
cutters. Yeah.
Hmm.
And also just think about like if I didn't know about dentistry and then there was this one guy who when I had a toothache that said, "Hey, it's going to suck for a little bit cuz I'm going to have to drill in here with this hand thing and do some stuff, but I'll make your toothache go away." Yeah, he would be way fucking renowned.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Whatever
especially
he
with
wanted.
yeah. Back in Egypt, they found tooth restorations that were done using beeswax and honey, and also barley, and also very crude fillings using powdered minerals,
Wow.
because it was too early to do like fine-tuned metal feelings, but like they were trying things.
They
Uh,
were trying, yeah. It's
yeah,
not like they had polymers back then they could use.
right. But here's a smart thing. We do know now that like honey and beeswax, they are naturally antibacterial. Not
Hmm.
antibacterial, but like they are uh yeah,
Antimicrobial. Yeah.
antimicrobial. So it was actually a way to fix problems. It wasn't just, oh, you're just
Yeah.
gonna put some shit here and see what works. No, it was doing stuff. They also found copper chisels, so like very small, like for small work tools. Like that also always represents like some higher like thought about like, oh, we should do this to fix this, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And for more proof, they also found actual papyruses. Papyruses?
Mm-hmm.
Papyrus? Yeah. They
Papyruses, yeah.
found actual papyruses describing basic procedures of how to take care of teeth. And this
Cool.
was and about taking care of teeth. These papyruses also had information about like that. The translation is sort of weird, but it relates to an early concept of cavities, and it was describing them as like very small bugs or like tooth worms,
Oh my
which
gosh.
this was 2000 years before the concept of bacteria and microorganisms were even discovered.
Whoa.
So like, because like way
I
back
get
then,
I get where they're thinking of tooth worms though, because you think of a fruit or vegetable that has a spot that looks like a cavity. You go, oh, it got a worm.
yeah.
Yeah, I get why they thought
And
that.
right, but like way back then, usually the thought was always a curse.
It
Oh,
was a
God is
curse,
cursing
or
you.
you've done
Yeah,
something wrong, or this
Yeah.
means you're a
yeah.
witch, or this means you've cheated at
Hmm.
poker, or yeah.
Exactly. Or you just walked on the way where the king was walking. That
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
So like just the fact that someone was writing about this stuff, like this is very interesting about like how we think of society in general, and
Hmm.
thoughts related to medicine, because we usually related to Greece with Hippocrates, but like this was way before.
They were doing some buck wild shit over in Greece with medical stuff.
Yeah.
They were
Hmm.
getting weird with it. They're like, tie this chicken to your arm.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot of the Pliny the Elder kind of stuff. They're like, all right, so you got your humors, all right.
You have a
Yeah.
Yeah,
toothache.
Uh,
We're gonna kick you in the balls about it. Don't ask questions. It'll fix it.
and you have a 50% chance of surviving, but and also 50% chance of having a good time.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
these other facts are more recent, because like since then, like the other biggest improvements were made like in the 1800s. So these are mostly things that dentists invented, things that you should thank your dentist about. First of all, anesthesia. This was invented by dentists, was discovered, the compound of it all. It was invented by dentists, and you can like find the logic where it's the profession that hurts the most. So,
Yeah.
but that's the funny thing. It was invented around the 1800s, but they weren't using for procedures. Can you guess why they were using?
This recreationally, I would guess.
Yeah.
For entertainment.
Yeah.
They were doing basically, oh, like, come around, everyone, come see what this weird gas does to you. Isn't it weird?
Let's do whippets and drill on this guy's teeth.
No, not even that. They weren't even thinking about drilling teeth. They were just saying, isn't this gas
Yeah,
weird?
check out
And
this
then
funny
like
gas. It makes you laugh a whole
yeah,
bunch.
It makes
and
you
then
laugh
like
a lot.
yeah, and then someone, like the discovery of it as anesthesia was that one of the people that were in the crowd that got to use the gas, he had chronic leg pain, and he was like, "Huh, this is weird. My chronic leg pain is over when I start huffing this good gas." And they were like, "Oh, we could do something about this, you know?"
You're
Oh,
onto
So like
it could
something
be for
there.
more than fun.
yeah, so like this is wild. Like they were like literally sitting on, on a very gigantic discovery. But we're just gonna do it for fun.
We're gonna
That's so
get
silly.
high.
Yeah. Other things dentists invented was the cotton candy, which
Whoa.
yeah, back then he called it fairy floss,
Oh
So I
yeah.
which
believe I
is
believe Australians still call it fairy floss.
I
I think
didn't know
there's some
that.
places that call it that.
Yeah, I think it's a way better name.
It's very good.
Um, yeah, and it's also a really good con. Like I'm not gonna talk about the dentistry overlords or anything like that, but creating
Yeah.
something that is just pure sugar is a really
Yes.
good
Eat
con.
it, children. Eat the fairy floss.
Yeah. Here,
Look at
have
the
some cotton
beautiful
candy and
colors.
my card.
Yeah. A dentist also created the artificial grape juice. So like the
Whoa.
the
Artificial
grape
grape
juice
flavor?
flavor. Yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
Which is also since it's like artificial grape juice is also a lot of sugar, so not gonna talk about
Oh yeah.
it.
You don't want the secret cabal of candy dentists coming after you
Yeah.
for revealing the secrets.
Exactly. And this last one, most people talk about it on the internet a lot, but like a dentist did invent the electric chair. That's just something people talk about, and it is true, but it's kind of like messed up to talk about it. Anyway,
Y'all
um,
y'all get some real good invention time as dentists. I
mhm,
imagine when you're doing stuff on teeth, you have a lot of time to think about things.
Yeah.
absolutely. No, I mostly like talk about my day with either the assistant or the patient. I'm just like, and they're like,
Ha
oh
ha ha
yeah,
ha
yeah,
ha
Uh-huh.
ha.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
And
tell
it just
me,
right.
is it always deliberate when a dentist has their hand in my mouth and then they go, "So you wrote down that you're a coach. What does that involve? Tell me everything about that. What do you do with that? You have
Yeah.
a podcast? Tell me what your podcast is about.
Speak
Could
at
you
length
describe
about
the
that, and
plot
don't
to
mind my
me?
hands in your mouth.
What voice do you use on the pod? Yeah, do you do that to goof on us?
It's 90% of the time is accidental.
I love that.
uh,
That's the
I do
I,
best
I
I
would
case
be
do
like,
scenario.
I do feel though, like if I were a dentist, I would be like, I feel like we're vibing. Tell me about yourself. And I would
mm-hmm,
forget that my
yeah,
hands are in their mouth.
yeah.
Right.
I think
Like
I would.
one
I can
time,
see what you mean.
yeah, one time a patient accidentally beat me because of that, because I was cleaning her teeth, and she was talking about how I can remember, but she'll talk about her hometown. And as I stopped doing because I was interested in what she was talking, but then I noticed the time, so like I wanted to keep going to the cleaning. So when I put my hand and she just beat my my finger.
Wow. She's like, no. I gotta finish my story.
Yeah, honestly. No,
if
I did
I
stop. I was like, it
if
was a
I
power
bit
move.
my dentist, that might kill me. That might be like when you call a teacher mom accidentally. That would
Yeah.
be up there for me of, oh God, I can't come here ever again.
Yeah, that's a power move, honestly.
Mhm.
It says, "Hang on. You may have your hands in my mouth, but I'm in charge here."
Okay,
Yeah.
before we close out, I have one question because I'm always obsessed about getting a good grade in teeth. I love these chompers.
Mhm.
What is the correct order for brushing,
Oh yeah.
flossing, and mouthwash?
Oh my God. Okay, so first of all, mouthwash only once a day. No
Yes.
more than that.
Oh,
Please,
okay.
for the love of
Okay.
God.
Okay. Okay.
People are very addicted to mouthwash. They think, oh, it kills all the germs, so therefore I gotta use it all the time. But like more than once a day, it can actually make your teeth worse because
Whoa.
it's a very acidic action in your mouth.
Oh,
Like,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
and
It's helping your gums, but it might end up hurting your teeth if you're using it too
yeah,
much.
no, it does help your teeth,
Yeah.
but like it's the
Overdoing it.
it's
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, overdoing it, because like it has fluoride, and fluoride helps your teeth restore themselves, but it also has the antibacterial stuff,
Hmm.
and when people also when people say, oh, maybe you shouldn't use it at all because some bacteria in your mouth is actually good. It's the good good, what's the word when people say it? Like sort
Good
of like
bacteria,
in,
your
yeah, it's
microbiome.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly, like it's your microbiome. That is a factor that we talk about, but it's generally can be ignored in the sense that like
I
you're
feel
not
like
gonna kill your butt, you're not gonna
no,
kill
no. And
your mouth things,
I
you're
also feel like
never gonna.
so many other factors like the stuff you're eating will affect that
Mhm.
microbiome too, that if whatever you do kill immediately is coming back.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
When it comes to, especially when it comes to cavities, they have a lot of really good defenses. One of them is they have a level for them, right? Like they're like all over your teeth. If you use the mouthwash over them, it will kill the ones on top, but the ones on the bottom will stay still alive. So like
Okay.
they by themselves will make a wall, like they'll just protect themselves, like
Yeah.
it's not gonna do anything. Anyway, mouthwash only once a day. That's like very important.
Yeah.
You should usually do it after brushing. Mouthwash last, because if you're gonna brush your teeth, you're actually gonna
Brush off what you've
remove
just
the,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
exactly, yeah. So first, um flossing first, because
Okay.
your toothbrush isn't gonna reach the spots that you're flossing. If you brush your teeth and then you floss, you're gonna just remove
Dislodged.
stuff from your teeth, and then it's gonna rub on your teeth, and so you're gonna just
Stay on
dirty
there.
them
Yeah.
again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So you
Right.
should floss first, like all your teeth, doesn't matter the order of them. Then you brush. By the way, please, for the love of God, people, stop using the activated carbon
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, no. Yeah.
tooth.
No, 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 no,
Toothpaste.
no. Yeah.
Yeah,
Activated
please, for the love
charcoal.
of
Yeah.
God. Yeah, please. It's the worst thing ever. I don't know why people keep advertising it. If you take medication, it's gonna stop
It'll
your
help
medication in your
yeah, it'll
system.
chelate that out of your system. That's what they use
Hmm.
when people get certain toxins is they give them activated
Right.
charcoal cuz it carries it out of your system.
Also, mauve toothpaste that promotes, oh, it will whiten your teeth. It's usually kind of bullshit. Like generally speaking,
Yeah.
it's kind of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Your teeth have a very natural color to them. If you're gonna make them, the denting inside your enamel is actually yellower than your actual teeth. So if you were to like just destroy your teeth with a friction. Like you would actually make your teeth yellower. There's like no such thing as like naturally making your teeth whiter. Like you gotta go through a whole like process about it. It should, yeah, I'm kind of so-so about. So yeah, flossing first, then brushing, and then mouthwash. Brushing at least twice a day. Flossing every time after you eat anything. Honestly, it's always good because otherwise you're gonna build a plaque like
The
in
food's
between
going to
your
hang
teeth
out in
just
there
over
for a
time. Yeah,
while
it's
and
gonna
cause
be there.
issues,
It's
yes.
got people seem to think that like, oh, if I just what's the word when you like do the thing in your mouth with
Oh,
the water, like you,
swish.
Swish.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
not going to get
doesn't
it.
do anything. That does nothing. I had a patient like he was having to take antibiotics because he had a little chip of his tooth inside his gum,
Mm.
and he had to take antibiotics because of it. And he was like, "Oh, what if I just switch the antibiotics? Then it's just gonna like go in there." I was like,
That's not how
"No,
that works.
no."
That's not how it
We're
works.
trying to keep you from getting sepsis, bud. So why don't
Yeah,
you take the
yeah.
antibiotics?
Like just do switching as you like. Just take the stuff that you already did the work to take out, just to spit it
Yeah,
out, but like
yeah.
don't.
So
Well,
Yeah.
I actually have
beautiful.
one more question, really quick. You know water picks?
Mm-hmm.
Do those work well? Are they safe? Do they actually help?
They work. They are fairly less efficient than flossing. Flossing is the most efficient way to take stuff out of your the small area in your teeth.
Mhm.
But what we usually like to say is that any way that you are any way that you are using to remove stuff from your teeth is usually good because you are trying to clean your teeth.
It's
Okay.
better than
So like,
nothing.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So like if the only way that you can do it is through water flossing, then do the water flossing. It's usually not as good, but it is good.
So like
Okay. Yeah.
when I had braces, I had a water pick because the little pick ones to get in between braces just I ended up
Hmm.
poking and stabbing myself in the
Oh, those
gums and
suck.
I wasn't
Yeah.
able to do it. So my mom got me a
Hmm.
water pick and it wasn't ideal, but for 4 years while I had my braces, I did okay.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah, it's good. As long as you're taking care of them. Like especially when people have like sensory issues, that sort of thing,
Mhm.
they usually would try not to take care of the teeth that much because like, it's bad, but like you gotta at least try, like
And
it's
yeah,
better to go through it's better to go through the sensory nightmare than to go through the extra sensory nightmare of the other problems that will come later.
Yeah.
and
That's
autistic
true.
people who have trouble brushing your teeth, if you haven't discovered this yet, buy kids toothpaste and buy kids mouthwash
Absolutely.
in flavors that are not mint if that's the thing that's bothering you. And you might not realize that's the thing that's bothering you until you try. But with most of my clients, when they have trouble brushing their teeth, they find it significantly easier when they're like, I got this sparkly unicorn bubblegum flavor one. I got this pineapple flavor one. And they're like, I actually don't hate brushing my teeth like I did. I don't love it. It's not fun. They're like, but I don't loathe it. So
Yeah.
that's from
The,
a not from someone not in school for dentistry.
yeah.
Yeah,
The,
kids
the
toothpaste.
only Yeah, the only difference from adult toothpaste to kids toothpaste is just like, oh, adults want to have a minty fresh breath. So we're
Literally
gonna
just the
do
flavor.
this really, yeah, it's literally just that. Kids, if using kids paste is how you do it, then do it. It's not gonna change anything as long as you're
Cool.
cleaning your teeth. Also, about that, if you like have a really big problems going to the dentist, you can ask for like anything. Like you can ask to have a friend there, have a plushie there. You can ask for headphones. You can anything. We really try to make the experience as calming as possible for you because if you're calm, then we're calm. Like we don't want our patients to be like in stressed and pain. Like you can tell, hey, can I just pop in some headphones? Yes, you can. Oh, can I, have someone holding my hand here? Sure, go for it.
Yeah,
That's
I
Yeah,
like
I love
last time
that.
I was at the dentist, I had my tinted sensory glasses, so the light didn't bother me
Mm-hmm.
as much because, hey, the dentist needs that. but it bothers me, so I can wear my
Yeah.
sunglasses, and then I have my headphones on because I didn't want to hear all the noises, and
Mhm.
it helped everyone do what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Also, please, everyone, please try to get like at least one like dental visit like a year, just for like general. Try to have more than those, but like at least once a year, because a lot of people, when they become adults, they're like, oh, my mom isn't taking me anymore, so I'm not. They just forget to go.
Yeah.
Like, please try to at least have like one dental visit a year, just like to see how your stuff is doing.
It's always
Because
going
like
to be
sometimes it
cheaper.
doesn't.
It's always going to be cheaper
Yeah.
than if you have to go in for an emergency because you've ignored it for too
Yep.
long and now you need a
Exactly.
root
Yeah.
canal.
Sometimes stuff doesn't hurt until it does.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like
Well,
the
thank
old
you.
saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of regret, or something, however that
Cure.
goes.
Something,
Yeah, that's the
something.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cure.
Well, Max, thank you so much. I had so much fun learning about teeth. Your crown is amazing. And you would think that your crown of teeth would be intimidating, but there's something
It's
about
my
it
crown
that
of
is,
crowns.
yeah, it's your crown of crowns. Thank you so much for coming to teach us
No,
about
thank
teeth
you.
and answering the
Yeah, thank
mystery
you.
of Violet's baby teeth.
This was really fun. As long as people are taking care of themselves, then everything's gonna work out.
Beautiful. Hey friends, before I catch you up with the housekeeping section, I wanted to say thank you to our Patreon supporters, like Dave Perrell, Steve Hernacki, Megan E., Carl Brooks, Natasha Neves, Leigh Sand, Gus, Lucy, Helen Clifford, B. Trossler, Kelly Brennan, Sewing Seraph, Rachel Rachelson, Fintago, and Randy Lovings. And I'd also like you to check out the show details to see what our bud Max is up to, who so graciously came to teach us about teeth. If you like comics, and even if you don't speak Portuguese, you'll still get something out of it. We have a link to Max's art account where he makes comics, and he's extremely talented, and it's a nice way to go support our dear friend who came to teach us about teeth. You know the usual as well. If you want to help us out with the show, you can tell your friends about it. We don't take paid advertisements, and we don't advertise ourselves. We completely rely on word of mouth from kind folks like you to tell people about the show. So if you are in like some secret fight club for dentists or something where you think this would be a real hit, you can share it with them. I know you can't tell me about the fight club. I think the first rule of Dentist Fight Club would be to always floss your teeth, and then I think the second one would be to not talk about Dentist Fight Club. I don't know that for sure, but I think that would be the rules. Anyway, if you're in Dentist Fight Club, when you're done flossing, you don't have to tell me, but you can tell your friends about it. If you want to see what Violet and I are up to on the internet, you can go to the show details to find our handles on social media to see what we're doing on the interwebs. If you're in a place to help support us financially, you can go to our show details for a link to the Mix No More Patreon page. The Mix No More Patreon starts at just $1 a month, and there are rewards at different tiers, and it means that you get bonus material for everything Mix No More does, not just Infodumpies. So if you started listening to today's Lucky Winner, and now you're also listening to Infodumpies, it's a place where any bonus material we produce, you can get at certain tiers. And even if you don't go support us on Patreon, I would also like to invite you to go check out the show details to join our Discord server. The Discord server's really fun. I'm planning some new streams for this new year. We have weekly ones that are just regular things we do, like Monday body doubling and a Thursday stitch and bitch. But I'm working on planning streams, and one of them might include all of us getting to watch that movie about Pickles the dog. If you're a real Infodumpies OG, you know Pickles the dog. But it's really fun, and I would love to have you come hang out with us on the Discord server. But I think that's all I've got for you now, my friends. Until next time, clever sign off.